All right. Do you want to go? Should we introduct?
Oh yeah. All right, ready? Welcome back.
What's
I'm
going
your
on?
host,
What is
King
going on?
Cudjo.
And
I got my mans in the building.
I'm your other host, Cough Drippy, the other man in the building. I guess we're in two separate buildings, but
I just realized that was a mistake when I
it's
said
okay because
because
we're
we're not
kind
in
of
the same building.
we're in the same like virtual space.
Yeah, we're in like we're on your head top. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're in your ears as you're listening to us.
I
So
can't
we're in the
remember.
same, audio building.
I can't remember if I'm usually on the right or the left, but I want to say I'm usually on the right because the couch that we would sit on there is on the right from the camera viewpoint. So if I wanted to hypothetically point at you, if I'm on the right side of the screen, I think I'd point
You
that
point
way.
to your left.
So I'd be like this, "What's up, Sean?"
I'd be like, "Oh my god, yo, that's crazy."
Dude, it's here, dap me up.
Oh, I got you right here.
All right.
Oh,
I bet that I'm gonna edit that so it looks perfect.
I hope that looks good because honestly, it feels terrible.
That'd be embarrassing. That'd be embarrassing if we just missed the dap. You know what I'm saying?
It happens to the best of us, man. We're not actually in the same space, but anyway, we are in the same audios.
Yeah.
Oops. Spoiler alert. But we are in the same audio space, which is funny. That's gonna bring me to what I wanted to talk about very quickly.
Yeah,
there's a lot more other things happening in the world that we do have to discuss. But
there's been a lot of stuff.
Exactly. But really quickly, I've been editing some parts of the movie. This is an update for you too, because I haven't been able to tell you.
Yeah, I didn't even know, dude. Yeah, we have to catch up. But let's hear it.
Okay, so I've been editing the first half of the break line, which I shot half of it in Maryland, half of it over here.
That was the day of the last podcast.
Yeah, that was the day of the last podcast. We literally recorded that day. I've been editing it, not only picture-wise, but I started doing some preliminary sound stuff. Because it's not picture locked, I can't fully dive into the sound. But I was like, all right, let me make my work a little easier and pick out some sound effects that I'm probably going to use when I'm picture locked. So I started doing a little bit into like a project and started putting some things in. And I was like, you know what? I want to try something different with the sound because I really want it to sound good. So I'm editing in 5.1.
What does that even mean? I mean, when I usually get sound files, I don't have a number attached to them.
Well, I'm so glad you asked. So when we think about it, like every speaker is a number. Mono, you know what mono is, right? Like mono audio is one speaker.
Yeah.
Right?
The Yeti's awesome because it has like a bunch of different settings for that.
Then I saw that. Yeah, there's like I saw there's a stereo and a mono and like a
Omni
surround sound.
Is it called like Omni or something? Like the one that's just like all around? I think it was
called Omni on the system. But yeah, it's like it also has like a surround sound system where you kind of pick up like sound all around the microphone.
Something surround sound. Wait, that's like JID or something, right?
That is JID, but I'm so shocked because you're like the last person. You're not the last person.
I'm so hip.
You're like in touch. I'm shocked.
Thank you.
The cultural references you're making now. Anyway,
I've been studying.
There's two. There's stereo, which is two, right? Left microphone, left speaker, and then right microphone / right speaker, left right channel. That's two.
Yes.
Right. Then there is 5.1. Which is this, and let me show. I kind of want to show it like visually. So there's a speaker directly in front of you.
Okay.
Right. There's also your left and right speakers.
Okay.
So that's mono plus stereo, and then you have two more on your back left, and then your back right.
Okay. So it sounds like it's basically like the full circle one.
Exactly. And then there's a sixth one. The 0.1 is the subwoofer, but it's surround sound. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, in the Yeti, like the back of it, I don't feel like getting up right now, but it's got like a bunch of different options. It's like one of them is the front of the microphone and the back of the microphone, and then one of them is right here and right here, and then one of them is just all around, which I'm assuming is what you're kind of using right now, and then one of them is right and left, and so that's the nice thing. But I use the one for this podcast that's like right here and right here because that's the closest one just to like directly like speaking into it. And also that was the one that this is the microphone that we've used for like so much stuff, like a bunch of songs and stuff like
You
that.
use that microphone for everything.
And so when we did the podcast for the first like 25 episodes, it was like just, one of us was right here, one of us was right there. Boom shakalaka.
Exactly. You only really need the two. But for me, I always felt like when I'm editing the sound design of a movie, two speakers aren't really enough. Ironically, I know I have 2 ears, so you think it goes, 2 to 2, it makes sense. But it's really hard for me to kind of picture the landscape of the film with only two sources of audio coming at me. So I made it into 5.1, which turns into, when you look at the way, at least I have it in Logic right now, it's like 6 different channels. And so you're mapping sound to like so many different places in the room.
Yeah.
And for me at least, it's like such a better experience in terms of trying to create a really in-depth sound.
There's some really cool stuff that has like surround sound design on YouTube. Like there was just one thing in my sound design class that we listened to that was like you could close your eyes and it was like the guy would be like cutting your hair and he'd be doing it right in front of you and like talking in your ear. There are some really good tools to be able to do that in Logic that let you sort of, because I do that a lot of time with the sound design. Like if I want to make it more, but it's interesting because like you don't have to record sound that way to make it to make it go like surround in your head.
No, you don't. I mean, I feel like maybe back in the day you might have, but the tools now, it will take your little one mono sound or your stereo sound and then place it to certain speakers or all the speakers in the room. So it is just, I love the way it feels. It's more intuitive for me when it comes to designing where things are in the sound, in the surround sound landscape. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to crush it down when I'm done back into stereo, which is 2. But at least the mixing part will be in surround so that when it crushes down, it should sound a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more like,
Nuanced.
I don't know, like nuanced. Yeah, nuanced. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past week a little bit.
Awesome. So it's coming along well. The editing process overall is coming along.
It is coming along. Obviously, I only have half the movie to edit, so I can't really explore it too far. But it is coming along really well. I'm excited to. I might want to reshoot one shot just because I feel like it could be done better. But other than that, It was fantastic start. I think some people are gonna be very surprised by this movie.
I'm excited. It was fun to film, as y'all saw. It was you saw us right after the filming last episode.
Hot off the plate, man.
Yeah, that was fun. So we haven't we got some time to catch up, I guess, because it's been busy these past 2 weeks. This is like the only time slot that we could figure out. Like it's nuts.
That's what I was saying. I want to spend a good portion of this to catch up on just like our lives a bit, just because we haven't really gotten to we both just our busyness, like our lives picked up. So
yes,
what's up? How you doing?
Good, bro. I rarely find myself with a day to do nothing. Rarely, very rarely. But on Sunday, like this past Sunday, I finally had some time to like chill and just like relax, and it was so nice. And I didn't quite, how like you usually when you have like too much time, you like wait for a you wait for a day to have like nothing going on, and then when you get that day, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had something going on.
Yeah, it's almost like this anxious feeling of like I should be doing something because I'm so used to doing like needing to get something done.
Exactly. I think I still kind of had the feeling of like I should be doing something because it's just like the lingering feeling when you're doing stuff all day. But that being
Yeah.
said, I was like, nah, like relax. And so I just sort of took a chill pill and I was like, all right, what can I do today that's not gonna like stress me out? Like I'm not gonna like do work today, like all that stuff. And it was
You got to
so nice,
schedule your
bro.
loafs.
It was so nice. I finished the sequel. Now I officially finished the first and second book. You know how I was reading them like up and downstairs. Um,
Yeah.
I officially finished the first two books, and now I'm on the third, which is like the final of like the original trilogy of Mistborn.
Ironically, I was kind of dogging on the way you were reading it before because it didn't make sense to me. But I think that's a way more interesting way to read it leading up to the third one because you're basically playing like back and forth in the timeline. Like, all right, when did this happen? When did that happen? And then once you finish both books, now it's just the future. Now you're just like,
Right,
let's
right,
see
right,
how it
right.
ends.
Now I will say, like, there were some times when I'd get like a spoiler in the second book for the first, and I was like, ah. So like towards the end of it, I tried reading more of the first book and then slowing a little bit down on the second book. So I did finish the first book before I finished the second book by I don't know, a decent amount, maybe like 100, 200 pages, but these are like 500 to 700 page books. So it was still
Sheesh.
like it was still like mostly reading upstairs downstairs, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna slow down here so I don't get spoilers for like the very end of this of the first book and stuff like that, even though honestly most of it was already spoiled, but it's okay. It was still really fun to read. I mean, I finished both of them and I had a great time. So
That's the thing. That kind of reminds me of the way that Who Killed Mr. President rolled out, and that in a sense the second film is really the first film. Um,
prequel.
that comes down to like the way the story is written. If you write it in a way that uh you can go back in time without being like, all right, we kind of know where this goes already, and kind of explore how did we get to this point.
Yeah,
I think it's always interesting to be able to uh kind of play with the timeline and see like, all right, where are we here? How do these
yeah.
characters get here, get to this point? But the books aren't written as if it was 2, 1, and then 3. You just decided to read it in that
Well, it
order.
wasn't 2, 1, and 3, and then 3. It was 1 and 2 at the same time. And then I still finished 1
Simultaneously,
before
right?
first and then 2, and then now I'm on 3. But
Right,
it
but
is
like the
yeah.
point I'm trying to make is like the second one isn't written in a way where it's like, oh, you like the first one isn't going to be spoiled by what happens in the second book.
The first one definitely was spoiled. Like
Yeah.
like here and there, here and there. Yeah, yeah. Cuz like you said, it's not written to it wasn't written as a prequel, right? So it's like right. So it's like I kind of made the first one a prequel, I guess you could say, in a sense, because I
Yeah.
was like jumping into the second one. And I started them at the same time. But yeah, it was interesting. Speaking of like prequels, it's interesting because like the Hunger Games and Harry Potter both made these like prequels as their like fourth. Well, Harry Potter had 7 books, but like after they were
Harry Potter has
done,
a ridiculous amount of books.
right, they went and they made prequels. I guess Fantastic Beasts was only like a movie prequel, but you can still buy like the screenplay. But there's also Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is a play. Also, you can buy the play, and that is a
That's a
sequel.
sequel,
That's a
right?
sequel.
Yeah.
So I guess Harry Potter has both. The Hunger Games, on the other hand, I want to say they only have what is it, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I haven't read The Cursed Child. Actually, did I read The Cursed Child? I think I did. And I thought it was like but I heard that
Hmm.
as a play, it was really good. Like seeing it live, it was really good. We
Uh,
rewatched Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone the other day because Ashley threw it on because it's around Halloween time, and it was a great time.
why? I know why, but just like I think it's so funny, like there's a certain cultural relationship that we create with certain stories, and we're like, all right, it's a certain season. This is a seasonal thing that we have to now do every, X, Y, or Z. So to be like, all right, it's spook season, time for some mysticism. Oh, Harry Potter. It's like, of
Yeah, I mean,
course.
every once in a while, there's like a new movie that comes and like contributes. But I do feel like the fall/winter seasons are when you rewatch the most movies. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you just have the
Word.
classics. Like during Halloween, you're gonna get Nightmare Before Christmas, which I've already seen some of. You're gonna get Coraline. You're gonna get Harry Potter. You're gonna get. I mean, come on, what's your favorite Halloween movie?
I kind of like Halloween Town actually. That used to be my
Halloween
shit.
Town. You're gonna put on your favorite movies growing up. When you do Christmas, you're gonna have like what? Love Actually. You know what I'm saying? You're
Love
still
Actually is an
gonna have
interesting
Nightmare
one.
Before Christmas, which is why it's one of my favorites because it's both Halloween
Ironically, it
and
works.
Christmas. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I throw on? I throw on the Tim Allen trilogy of the Santa Claus films.
I love those movies. I don't think I saw the sequel series on Disney Plus. Did you ever watch that?
I did. I watched it with my mom.
I think we might have talked
And
about it, but I can't remember what you thought. So was it good? Was it bad?
I'll give my quick I think I did have I talked about it in one of these episodes, but just to quickly recap it, it was in terms of the quality, it's completely different. I feel like the other films were not just literally shot on film, but like there was a certain aesthetic and look to it that's not intentionally updated. I just feel like the budget wasn't high enough, and also a lot of these films came out in like the 90s to early 2000s, so they don't have those resources anymore.
Yeah.
So in the recreation of making it the same world, it doesn't quite feel the same. The way it's even shot, there's a little bit of that office aesthetic of like
Oh,
camera zoom, like work. They're like co-workers in a place type of system.
interesting.
So
Interesting.
they updated it for like I guess a newer, younger audience. Which that part I didn't like, but the story itself, the characters, they delve into all right. You know the lore of Santa Claus, but you've never asked why
Yeah.
is the lore of Santa Claus the way that it. Why is there a Mrs. Claus in the contract
Yeah.
when Santa becomes Santa? Like it goes into these questions.
Yeah.
It's like Mrs. Claus even asks, like, all right, so once a Santa gets a Mrs. Claus, what are they supposed to do? And also, were there other Mrs. Clauses, and what happened to the previous Mrs.
I like
Clauses?
how they address
That's a
some of those
real question.
questions. Yeah, I like how they address them. Like, what happens to Mrs. Claus when like the one Santa Claus dies or like falls off the roof? You know what I'm saying? Like, does the other Mrs.
Exactly.
Claus just like
It's
disappear?
oddly and like it's a it's a Christmas kind of like for the kids story. So it's really interesting to have these moments of introspection on its own lore and like, all right, what happened to the original elf in the first movie? Like where did he go? And like it goes into all these questions you've ever had about the Santa Claus movie series. And so me and my mom, because I watched it with my mom, like we loved it. We were emotional about it because it kind of brought us back to a certain time.
Yeah.
Jason came after the Santa, like literally maybe right after. I think the third one came out in like 2011,
I thought it was
2012,
like
something like that.
2007. I mean, I might be wrong, but I know the first one was like in the 90s, and then I think the other two are in
The
the
first one was
2000s.
90s.
Um,
The second one's 2004. You might be right. I think maybe the fifth one was like 2005, 2007, because the second was 2002.
yeah, I mean, you might be right
Either
too. I
way,
can't
it was
remember.
before Jason's time, so he
Yeah.
doesn't have that connection with it.
Right.
So it's interesting to see I'll be like emotional about it. My mom will be like, "Oh my god," emotional about it, and my brother will just be like, "Yo, whatever." Like this is the most goofiest,
What
dumbest,
is
and it is like looking from his perspective. This show is so goofy and dumb, like it doesn't make sense.
okay? Yeah, fair enough. I mean, wait. So what is Jason's like go-to Christmas movie? Like that he has always watched and y'all have watched with him growing up. That's like his era.
That's his
Because
era.
didn't you still rewatch those as he was growing up? Like your go-to Christmas movies.
I try to get him into a couple of those, but he's a picky movie eater. So like, so he never really connected with some of those off the bat. I did show him Santa Claus 2 because it's my favorite Christmas movie.
Dude, I love the Santa Claus 2. That's the best one.
That's the best. It's like, oh, and the final battle between the children and the toys, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to geek out about this stuff, but he didn't fully connect with it. But my guess is give it 10 years. And then once it's in his past and not in his present, he'll be like, damn, that was a good movie because we watched it together. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I have to get him hip to a lot of different movies now. He's at the age where I can start showing him like shit like Terminator and some of those other more, R-esque type of movies and shows.
All the Arnold movies that for some reason we watched like every single Arnold movie of all time growing up.
Yeah, I was confused why looking back, like some of those movies are just not like, I don't think I should have watched it at that particular age. Maybe I need another like year or two, but
I think the best
you
one,
gotta break them in eventually.
I want to say like the best one that I can remember was called like Eraser, like the best like Arnold movie. Oh,
Eraser.
One of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I've talked about this, but it was Jingle All the Way, which is like with Arnold, and he's like Turbo Man, and it's with the kid who played Anakin in Phantom Menace. So Jake Lloyd, he's also around the same age, and it's just absolutely ridiculous, but it's awesome.
It's wild. That is wild. Yeah, I don't know. Movies. I feel like I still come from that like blockbuster era where movies were like a special family event type of thing. But this is the streaming era. So for him, it's just like, he throws something on with us, he'll throw something on without us. It's not as centralized. So when the holidays comes up, I'm not quite sure what he attaches to.
Yeah, dude.
He always does want like a Christmas movie on. Like I remember, even I was kind of like being iffy. I'm like, oh, like what Christmas movie do we put on? Like, can we just like relax or something? And he was like, nah, man, it's Christmas. We got to put like some Christmas movie on. So we'll see. We'll see what he connects with down the line. He's like, nah, this is my era. Because I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure.
What was I gonna say? Speaking of Blockbuster and the Santa Claus, I got one of the first movies I got from Blockbuster, I want to say, was the Santa Claus 2. At Blockbuster. Yeah, I got the second one first, and that's how I discovered it. And then I saw the first one later. So I think that's also part of the reason it's more nostalgic for me. But back to The Nightmare Before Christmas. So after I watched a little bit of that, I went and I watched the behind the scenes of it because I was like, this is very interesting. Because this is one of the most like iconic, Halloween / Christmas movies of all time.
To me, there is no more iconic film that does both holidays.
Exactly.
It's creme de la creme.
And do you remember, like on TV growing up, there's like stop motion animations of like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and like the Lost Toys and like
Oh, you know what? I have like fever dreams of like going to ABC Family.
Yeah.
And like all those like weird claymation stories were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so those I feel like a lot of people saw growing up. I'd actually be curious. I kind of want to look at the history of those because I'm like, those are so iconic. They have like, Santa Claus becoming Santa Claus, Kris Kringle and all that stuff. And like, anyway, Tim Burton was literally like inspired by that, like those. And he wanted to make like one of those, but for like Halloween kind of. And I'm like, that is kind of what The Nightmare Before Christmas ended up being. It's like something that they show on TV around Halloween time and around Christmas time. And Henry Selick, who's also one of the most well-known stop motion animators, like I believe he's the one that did Wendell and Wild, which is on Netflix now, and it's stop motion animation, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. They both worked on it together, like Nightmare Before Christmas. So the two most like well-known, and then they got this whole team of like I think for some time they just had a bunch of animators here and there. It was nuts. And it just watching it and seeing them like build all the sculptures, like sometimes they would have to build a scene that what I was gonna say is like it was probably like 1/4 the size of what the end sort of miniature ended up looking like. So it was like it was still huge. It was still like a huge like diorama of like the shot that they were gonna do or like the town they were gonna do, and then they still had to like get that like, okay, good, you're good to go, and then they built it like 4 times bigger.
Dang!
And they took 3 years to make it. They took 3 years to make it, which honestly is not
That's pretty
that
good
long,
turnaround.
considering
Yeah,
like,
that's great turnaround time.
each character has this sort of like skeleton of like metal bones and stuff like that, and they'll sort of like, that's why the animators are able to like pose them and stuff like that so well.
Are they actually? It looks like they're clay. Are they actually clay?
I think they are some type of clay, easily adjustable, but honestly, like, it's interesting because Jack Skellington has like 30 different heads that they literally just swap out as he's talking.
Just plop it on.
Yeah, that's why his face is able to like move, because they don't just like edit that. They can't just like edit that afterwards. This is also a pretty old movie. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, I'm just thinking about like, I feel like some animations now, if it's, if it's with actual even like models that they have to manipulate, there's always some level of computer involvement to just kind of enhance the image. But this is a much older film, so
yeah,
I'm sure they're still using computers, but just not in the same technical way.
If you watch it and you look at the computers they're using, you'll laugh, because they are those like blocky, like tiny ass screens, like the cheesy sort of old TVs that only you and I
with the
now,
back.
Only like our age would be able to like recall, and like younger than us would be like, what's that? Like, we're at that point. You know what I'm saying?
We're actually we're the last people that saw the computers with the big ass fucking back.
Right, exactly.
Looking like a cube.
Yeah, and so the most like effects that they have are like these cartoon ghosts. So all that is drawn animation instead of stop motion animation put on top of it as like ghosts here and there. So that's still animation. That's still like, that's hand drawn animation, which arguably, I feel like arguably with that old sort of cell animation, a lot of the time they would have like Disney, they would have these like basically these like thin strips, like see-through strips, and they would have your drawing of Mickey, and then they'd have another see-through strip, and it would be like Mickey in a different pose, and then they would like cycle those just like back and forth through each other, so that, for example, you don't necessarily have to change the background. Like, you don't have to draw the background every time, but you can have the character in different movements, especially when they're like walking and stuff like that. And so that in a way is still stop motion animation, because you're still like taking a photo of the cells. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's arguably still kind of stop motion, but like typical stop motion is like, now you're in like a 3D space and you can like hold the figure of like Jack Skellington and like all that stuff.
Yeah, you're breaking your back over, just trying to move his head a little bit so you can keep it pushing.
Yeah, and it's really cool, man. It's beautiful. They talk about how they try to make some characters more like weird moving, like Sally, because she's sort of like uncomfortable, so it'll change like the angle of the shot they do, or they'll make it a little bit more like this.
That's complex, like not just animating movement, but then animating different styles of how these characters move. I feel like that's really complex.
Oh yeah, and like they also had, because they're such big sets, you wonder like, how does some animators like get in there and move the characters, because that's one of the biggest pains in the ass. Like, you have to like reach over and like move the character like a tiny bit, you know what I'm saying? And the rule that they kind of came across is like, okay, we don't want any animator to have to reach more than 2 feet to move the character. And so they had these little sections of the set that you could move out like a puzzle piece if it wasn't and then they could go in and they could like move the thing, and they could go in and they could move the thing, and like
I like seeing the cleverity. Is that what the I like seeing how clever creatives try to problem solve ahead of time.
It's a really cool video. You can just look up like Nightmare Before Christmas behind the scenes, and I want to look up the behind the scenes of those old Christmas movies because I'm like those were sort of the
Is there
inspiration.
even
Those
like
were,
I feel like those didn't even I feel like those weren't even made. They just exist. You know what I mean? Like those are so there is some
old
things
and
are
like
just so old that
classic.
it's just like it is what it is. You
But
know,
that's
they
like
weren't even looking to record the behind the scenes. It just is.
I know those just always I was like you're right. They transcend time almost. They're just like they were always there. But
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas is gonna have the same effect if it doesn't already, which I think it kind of does.
That's a good point. That's actually that's a good point. I guess everything starts to fall into the category of always being in existence.
And that was the goal. So I'm just like that's impressive. You know,
It is impressive, dude. It's a legendary. I think when it comes to animation, it has to be in the top 5 most legendary animations ever.
yeah, you know what's also
Ever.
stop motion is Wallace and Gromit.
Yo, I was literally just going to bring that up because I keep seeing the memes of Millie Bobby Brown.
What does she have to do with Wallace and Gromit?
So check this, and you have to search this up later because it's hilarious. But she was eating a carrot for some interview, probably selling Stranger Things or something. And they gave her a bunch of carrots because they heard online that she liked carrots. So they gave her carrots as like a joke. And then she just took, and it's not like the baby carrots or like a chopped carrot, right? It's one of those like straight out of the fucking ground ass carrots.
Okay,
She didn't answer any questions. She wasn't like, oh my God, what is this? They dropped it in front of her and she immediately started grabbing a carrot. And then she starts like chewing on it, right? And then like the interviewer is like, oh, I see you really like carrots, huh? And then she's like, oh yes, I love it. Like the more like the baby carrots are okay, but I love it when it's like really raw like this, you know? And then she goes like, she looks kind of like to the camera and she's like, oh, the dirtier the better. like the way she smiles and the way, because she has such a heavy like accent too. The way she smiles in her British accent, it just looks smack like Gromit from
yeah.
Wallace and Gromit. And it's just like I'm gonna have to show you. Like, hold it down. I'm gonna show you this picture because
Wait, she looked like Gromit. Like okay, because I remember the smiles were kind of like this.
Exactly. No, and she looked exactly like that. Hold on, I'm gonna.
Dude, one time, my family bought like a baby carrots bag. And I reached inside it and I pulled out a full carrot. I don't know how that happened. Like, I'm serious. Like, they accidentally left a full carrot in the baby carrots bag.
What?
I know. It was crazy. It was nuts. I was so confused. Like, I was like, how does that happen?
How the fuck does that happen? What?
Yeah.
That's weird. Here, I'm sending you this TikTok because you just have to see it. It's like it's so good. It's Wallace. Now that we're on our pop culture run here, this is taking the internet by storm.
Do I have to watch it right now? Is this?
Yeah, watch it right now. This is
oh my gosh.
topic,
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, hopefully it doesn't hang up.
Right now.
I hope it doesn't hang up our call. All right. Let's see. This is taking the internet by storm, huh? How do I play it?
The dirty
it's just a meme. Oh, wait. Is this a video? Or is it like a photo that you sent me?
It should be a TikTok. Is it not a TikTok?
Yeah, but oh. Okay, I see now. All right, let's see this. Oh, TikTok's like in the iCloud thing, so it's not downloaded. Hold on. Okay,
it's fine. We can. I guess.
Wait. Hold on. I can see it. Let me see the Wallace and Gromit thing that you're talking about. Oh, somebody literally edited it with Wallace and Gromit.
But do you see how they look smack the same in that one frame?
I saw when she like bit the carrot like the first time. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. All right.
It's like she never looks like Gromit. In my opinion, she looks nothing like Gromit. But that one shot,
I like how Sean's like,
she smiled.
Disclaimer: Millie Bobby Brown doesn't look like Gromit. It's such a funny disclaimer.
For the TMZers that are out there, TMZ, yeah. I'm telling you, she looks smack nothing like Gromit. But this one frame where she has the carrot and she's smiling and she says that line in such a heavy accent, it's like, oh my God. Someone said like she should play Gromit in the werewolf like live action film or something.
The werewolf live action film?
Was it werewolf or is it the were rabbit? I think it's the one where like Gromit turns into the Easter bunny.
Oh, okay, I get it. That's funny. Dude, those were
like,
always fire. And there were so many of them. I'm like, how did whoever does that and make so many?
I don't even know, man.
Like,
I don't even know.
Because they were pretty smooth. And like, but I think those guys were more clay. I wonder if they had to switch out Gromit's or Wallace and Gromit's heads, or if it was more like malleable, like clay. Because now I'm thinking about it, I think the characters were.
This was like a little bit more janky.
They were made of some type of mold, like maybe it was clay, but it was like hard, I think.
Also, ever seen those Toad and Frog animations, or Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad?
I read those books. I don't remember. Wait, were they like cartoon animations or were they like stop motion?
No, I think they were clay animations.
Oh, I don't know if
my fever dream memory kind of remembers them.
Those were like some of the first books I read when I started learning how to read in like kindergarten. They were like, it was like Frog and Toad.
Oh word! That yeah, I love Frog and Toad.
That brings me back in my day.
Anyway, there's some other stuff in the news while we're on some pop culture stuff. Victoria's Secret recently had one of their very famous what's it called when you do like little catwalk thing? They had like one of their like fashion runways. Yeah, things? One of their fashion runways. And this is like the big one. I forgot the name of it.
I thought you were going to say something like the government didn't end up shutting down. And then Sean's like, in the news today, Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, I put on my 40s news voice. Recently in pop culture news, this is breaking news.
So how did the show
go? Fine, super normal, except there's one difference this year. This year, Victoria's Secret added a very diverse and wide variety of female bodies.
Oh,
like not just the skinny girls, not just the white girls. It was diverse. You have bigger women, shorter women, taller women, black women, white women. It was the entire beautiful rainbow of everything that is femininity. And of course there's some kind of controversy that comes with that. So allegedly, and I was talking about this with my good friend Lauren, who I just saw recently at Arena's birthday. Happy birthday, Arena.
Oh, happy birthday, Arena.
I was just at her dinner and her party last night. And it was great.
It's Scorpio season. Wait, is it Scorpio season yet? I think so.
It's October, so isn't it October
sometimes
Scorpio season?
The line changes. Anyway, it's Scorpio season. It's Scorpio season.
Scorpio season. Yeah, I think it is Scorpio season. Anyway, shoot, where was Victoria's Secret? So, a certain demographic of people were like, Victoria's Secret can't do this because the image of Victoria's Secret was kind of this exclusive group, and it was meant for a specific type of people, and now you're just saying anybody can.
Who said this?
Join this? The Karens. It was specifically like the skinny white girls that were the face of Victoria's Secret for decades. Those people.
Yeah, man.
Along with kind of a
people are always there's always going to be those people. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be those people. I just watched this musical at UMD actually called The Prom, and apparently it's a Broadway musical. I've never seen it before, but it was so good. They did an awesome job. It was so good. And it was about this girl who was trying to go to the prom with her girlfriend. But because, it was like a small town in Indiana, there were a bunch of the Karens, I guess you could say, or the sort of unaccepting individuals who were like, we don't want our kids to go to prom with a lesbian. And then they were all like giving all that pushback. And then it was really good. But the point is there's always those people that are going to be like pushing back against the sort of good causes. You know what I'm saying?
And I
Like,
found here's the thing. I find this particular case interesting because this is tied to identity. I think I was talking to Lauren about this when we were discussing the topic. This group of people don't necessarily. I mean, I'm sure a part of it is that they just want to keep it, you know, traditional, the way that they always envisioned it. But part of it, I think, is Victoria's Secret is decided as this like pristine, just the highest of beauty standards. Like this is beauty when you think about Victoria's Secret. And a lot of people that have tried to follow this mold of what Victoria's Secret is of being like, European skinny model-esque and being blonde and perfect and blue-eyed and blah blah blah. It's they used it, I think, partially to validate themselves. Where it's like, look, like regardless of what you think about me, I am in this exclusive group of people that's like the Victoria's Secret beauty. Right?
okay,
I can use
yeah,
that to say that I have some validity. And to see now that that has expanded to other people,
yeah,
that the palette of beauty can be wider than just this European-esque standard.
yeah.
I think it made them question their identity of like, wait, if anyone can be in this group, like what do I have to validate myself?
Yeah, I think that's a good breakdown of what happened. And you said something about breaking the mold. And so I wanted to say only shooting stars break the mold. RIP to the Smash Mouth singer.
Wait, what?
Hmm.
How long have they always been dead?
No, he died like a few weeks ago.
Oh, rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
So that completely. I try to stay up to date with all these things, but that went completely over my mentions. What a legend! What a superstar!
It's a cold place, but they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now. Wait till you get older, because the media man
Oda.
begs to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture or something like that. But I'm kind of
I
infamous for
mean,
getting
I could
lyrics
go on for
wrong.
days about, huh?
I'm kind of infamous for getting lyrics wrong.
Don't sweat it, dude, because you know the song. I think that's the really important part. Like his song is iconic. And yes, I think Shrek is a big part of why that song became so iconic, but it was already amazing from the jump.
Yeah.
So that's really sad. Rest in peace. I hope it was peaceful and nothing crazy because I hear, uh, especially with these types of people where they have such loud accomplishments. Sometimes when they pass, it's a story that you don't really want to hear.
Yeah. I can't
I'm still getting over
remember.
Jason David Frank and how he passed. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was dark stuff. It was like, spiraling in a hotel room type of stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know exactly for this guy, honestly. I don't want to say because I thought I heard, but if I'm not sure, I don't want to. You can Google it if you're interested, but yeah.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. While we're on some more serious topics, because I know we've been having fun for like the past hour, I think we do have to talk about the situation that's going on in Israel, Palestine.
Yeah, I mean, you take it away. I
Um,
know that was, I mean, well, let's break it down for a second. A few years ago, when there was the conflict rising up, Sean took to Instagram for his sort of, yeah, go ahead. You break it down.
yeah, so this is not the first time this conflict has kind of taken the world by storm. During COVID, there was, I believe, missiles were flying into Israel from Palestine or vice versa. It was such a long time ago, and I don't want to get the facts messed up. So I will say that there was some kind of attack that occurred during COVID or in the early phases of COVID, and it shocked me. Like I couldn't. Something about my spirit like could not sit well with just knowing that and then just living my day-to-day life like, oh, it's whatever, because I'm in America and I can do whatever. So I was like, and also this is the one subject that I think, at least in my circle of people, I'm pretty sure in the greater American society landscape, people are 50-50. Like every other person you go to has a completely different stance on the entire conflict. And so at the time, I was looking at my socials and everybody is just blazing their infographics, saying their opinions, stating all these facts, stating facts that aren't actual facts. Like it was a madhouse. So I'm like, all right, look, I want to have this conversation. So I saw an attack, or like the Al Aqsa Mosque, which is what it's called in, I believe it's in Jerusalem, but it's in that kind of general area, was attacked. I think it was on fire during like a religious holiday. So I saw the video. I just had like an immediate emotional reaction. I'm like, yo, someone explain to me like what's going on right now. Like I don't like what I'm seeing right now. If this is the IDF attacking Palestine or Islam in general, I don't like seeing this. If it's, I don't know, more complex than that, like I don't like whatever's going on here. And so someone replied to me and kind of explained what they saw from their perspective. And I was like, dang, like I love the way they shared what they knew. So I was like, yo, let me share this to other people, because I feel like people aren't getting the perspective, which is really what we need in this whole discussion. Not just what you think you know, but why do you think you know it? So I posted that, and it caused a reaction where someone else saw it and had their own perspective. So then they responded to that. And I was like, all right, cool. Can I share your opinion? Is that cool? I shared it, and it just kept going for like 6 or 7 different people having, and all of them wildly different.
They were like communicating through
perspectives on it.
It was interesting. They were like replying.
No, it almost felt like we were having a group discussion on this, because what was happening was like someone will mention this one issue, and someone else will mention an issue that triggered that issue, and someone would mention an issue that triggered that issue that triggered that issue. And then you just see how there was this issue, this conflict has such a domino effect of so many different things that happened all the way up from, World War II. You know what I mean? There's a long history of this conflict, and there's a lot of different sides to it. I think, a lot of people have taken a stance and have not, the word's not appreciated, have not, what's the word here? Have not taken the time to consider all the different perspectives in the matter. I've seen posts now, right? The conflict has just resurged because, unfortunately, and this is so tragic. Hamas did an attack during a concert that was going on in Israel. I believe around 200 people died, a lot of other people injured. It was a massacre from what I'm hearing. It was terrible. A lot of the details I'm not 100% sure of, simply because, and I've looked into it, it's just a matter of where is this information coming from? How is it being presented? But from what I heard, like it's real. Like I have friends who had friends over there and they were shot. So it's terrifying. And so it shocked the IDF being Israel, the Israeli government. Has decided, okay, this is the last straw. We're going to war with Hamas specifically, because we cannot allow you to come into our nation, attack our people, and then just do whatever, and then just wait until you attack us again. So they're looking to wipe out Hamas. They are currently at war, Hamas and Israel, and it hurts, if that makes sense, because this is such a multifaceted topic, because there's what's actually going on inside of the conflict between these two political powers. There's the people that are getting caught up in the middle of this, because on one side I see a rise in anti-Semitism and hate for Jewish people, because there's this one of the floating opinions that kind of sides on the Palestinian stance is that these people who created Israel are just colonizing the land that was actually Palestine. They're colonizers. Very similar in the fashion of when the Europeans came from Europe to America, wiped out the Native Americans, and then took the land and called it America. So they see it as, or a lot of different people, right? See it as, oh, these people they're conquerors. They're not people. They don't have right to this land. There were people already here. Um, and I think there's an objective part of that perspective, which is okay to share. You're voicing your opinion. I think there's certain validity to that. But then I've seen it get pushed to this other side of like, oh, we need to wipe out Jewish people and get rid of them. They've conquered these people, and the hate speech is disgusting. People that are there are people, because Israel is very tied to the religious ideas in the religion of Judaism. There are people that are Jewish who have not even looked into the conflict. They're just living in America or whatever country that they're in, and because the conflict kind of flares up in Israel/Palestine, um, they get hate. Jewish people outside of the nation who have maybe no connection or relation to the nation really, other than by fact of, they're part of this religion that is part of the history there. They get attacked for it, right? And I also see it on the other side as well, where there's people that are like very pro-Israel. Israel has the right to exist, which I don't disagree. And they will be posting these things saying, oh, you think Palestinians are innocent because, oh, they were living there or whatever, but they're just hiding a bunch of terrorists. It's like a terrorist organization. It's really just hateful, horrible things. Just assuming that innocent people are the worst possible thing that you can imagine. And part of me, I don't like it at all. I get it. It's easier to wipe something out or to hate something or to, or to fear something when you assume that they're just this villain. They're evil. They do this, they do that. These are horrible things. There's no reason to like them. But in my opinion, especially when you come into the adult world and realize that there is so much more gray in life, right? There is neither of these people, Palestinians, Israelis, are completely evil. I don't think either of them inherently want to just wipe out the other side. I get it. There's definitely a lot of fuel tension there. There's definitely hatred in there. But in general, the civilians in this situation, this conflict, just want to live. One of the reasons why Israel people fight so hard for Israel is because there's this long history of Jewish people being kicked out of that land and then having to survive elsewhere. But when they were able to reestablish Israel, it was a safe homeland. They could come to it. I know this because I was talking to people that they talk about their religion, they talk about their experience in Israel. It's the idea that Israel is the one place on earth where, God forbid, whatever happens outside, right? We have a home base that is ours, that is safe for us. And so the reason Israel even exists is because people just want to live and do their lifestyles and survive. And I hate that this conflict has gotten to the point where it's war now. It's I think in a weird sense, the conflict has gotten bigger than the people that it's going to affect. And now a lot of civilians are going to get hurt. They're going to lose food. They're going to lose water, power, resources. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the news and stuff like that, and seeing civilians getting caught and killed in the crossfire has just been awful to see. And so I hope people get out safely. You know what I'm saying? I've heard, awful stories. Yeah, it's really sad to see and hear about. But
And I'll
yeah,
share this. I'll share this thing that I heard because I think not because I don't know enough about the situation tangibly to say either of these sides are correct in what they're saying, but there was someone. I don't want to say they're just pro-Israeli. That's such a generalization, but someone made this post saying, "Look, the IDF understands that IDF being the military force of Israel." Understand that this is a complex situation. They don't want to hurt civilians. So they sent out a warning to the people in Gaza saying, hey, this is about to be a war zone. Get out while you can. Right. And they were saying, like, this is a warning saying that, like, we don't love that we have to go to war, but this is what it is. And then someone else made up the same information, said something else saying the IDF made that warning to escape Gaza 24 hours before their attack, which is not enough time for the people to actually escape that area. So what really happened was they sent out this warning. People are now out on the streets just trying to get out while they can because it's about to turn into an entire war zone. And then they're getting caught in the crossfires of the battles, of the strikes, because there's literal just missile strikes onto the land. So this was these are two different perspectives. This is the perspective that the IDF was trying to help the situation as best they could. One side is no, they're picking these people out to be slaughtered. It is it, and I don't know enough about what the intentions were of the IDF to know if either of these sides, like what they're saying, is correct or incorrect. It's so sticky, and I wish, not even an I wish. I was talking to. I have a friend who. I mean, there's a lot of the way the IDF works is that if you're a male, you serve in their military. If you're Israeli and you're a male, you serve in their military. Like it's like a draft situation. So I have a friend who served in the IDF for a little bit of time, and they're past that time now. They're staying with people in America, and he was saying, "I have served in the IDF. I have seen horrible things that some of the Palestinians have done to Israelis in Israel. I have personally been a part of some IDF operations that I knew were wrong against the people in Gaza, against Palestine." And he understood the complexity of the situation. But why did I bring this up? This is very important. This is very important. Let me try to go backward here. What was I saying about the people, the complexity, the situation? Oh, from what I was hearing from him, it sounded like uh, the conflict, because this conflict it didn't start today. It didn't even start back in 2020 when issues started flaring up and the world was watching. This has been an issue since after World War II and then the beginning of Israel. This has always been an issue. And so I feel like this issue, at least from this period from that COVID era to now, was kind of partially being ignored. I think there wasn't enough attention to find a peaceful way to have these two people coexist. I don't know enough about politics and trying to make societal change to know what's the best course of action. But if you're going to ask me what the best course of action, if I was in the chair and I had to make decisions for this whole conflict, which is terrible, I would have tried to find ways to slowly integrate the Palestinian people and the Israeli people. And I know people are not going to like it, and it's going to cause some conflict. But I think this, at least the war aspect of what's going on, could have been slightly avoided if these people weren't literally segregated. Like there's segregation going on over in Israel, Palestine. I saw this whole documentary talking about how the Palestinians, a lot. There's so much conflict that was going on, but the Palestinians were kind of moved to these other locations to kind of safeguard the area in Israel. And if you have a vehicle in with like Palestinian plates, you can't just drive into Israel, even if your ancestral home was there. Or there are people that had homes inside of the borders of Israel that had to be kicked out and moved to these other places, and they can't visit their homes, their ancestral homes. And it's ironic because Israelis also have, well, not all of them, but some of them also have ancestral legacy in the land itself as well. Um, but there's this literal wall of separation between Israel and the rest. And I feel like had we found ways to slowly bring these people together, that would have avoided war. Because I think it's a lot easier to say that person on the other side of this wall is the enemy than to say this neighbor that's right next to me that I've lived next to for X amount of years is my enemy.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot harder to do.
I think you made your points about Israel-Palestine. War is messy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
yeah, I hope it ends swiftly.
It sounds like it's terrifying. And like I said, I hope people stay safe. It seems really dangerous right now, and it's scary to hear all the stories and see all the stuff. So, yeah.
And it's weird as Americans, we can't really it's none of our business in a sense. I've gotten that a couple times where it's like you're in America in your nice American walls, your nice little American country, stay out of all the other issues happening around the world. And it's like, in a sense, I get it. You can't literally do anything, as this is not your nation. These are not necessarily your people. I mean, they're human people, and that, in the sense, that's our bigger community. But it's weird just seeing this conflict and being like, "Yep, let me just go back to my day-to-day American life." It's weird.
Yep. But yeah, conversations are definitely important to have, and that's good. Talking about stuff like that, I think, is important. I mean, talking with people always is important. Having conversations is good. Anyway, that being said, I think you've said a substantial amount on it, and I'm sure it won't be the last that you. I'm sure it won't be the last that you hear about it or talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a talking conflict for a long time, and yeah. Anyway, that being said,
hope for a swift end.
Well, let's lighten it up here. We're rounding out. We got a little bit.
That was our serious discussion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, what's your Halloween costume?
Motherfucker, is that the first thing you want to get into?
I mean, it is spooky season. You know what I'm saying?
It is spooky season. I haven't really thought about it just because like my mind has been elsewhere, just being constantly busy. Let's see here. I thought about doing, honestly, that Django movie?
Django, yeah.
That might be the one.
That would be awesome.
That might have to be the one.
That would be awesome. So you're just gonna get like the cowboy. You already have the cowboy hat.
That's what I'm saying. I have pretty much everything. I even have the sunglasses. So
Django.
I think I might want to do that. It's my ringtone. I actually have never done Django before, which is rare. I feel like I've done every character ever. You know what I mean? Like, I've been talking to people about Halloween, and it's like, yo, what's next, dude? Like, I've done it. Yeah. Black Panther, done it. Nick Fury, done it.
I know. It's like I'm starting to run out of costumes. I'm 23, coming on 24. And
exactly. How do people in their 50s and 60s do Halloween?
I feel like they don't usually dress up. I wish that they would, but not that frequently, unfortunately.
And I understand why, bro. It's like, what? How? I'm running out of characters.
I'm hip. But it causes you to have to be more more creative, I suppose. Or, there's always the costumes that you can just kind of throw together, which is always nice, if especially if your costume hasn't arrived yet or you haven't planned it out yet for the Halloween events that are leading up to Halloween and stuff like that. So I had a sort of, costume at the ready that I could just kind of throw on, but I do have a plan for closer to Halloween, so that's good. My one of the pieces of my costume, I guess the only piece that I didn't have, arrived in the mail yesterday, so I'm excited for it. Should be fun.
Let's go. So it's coming together.
It's coming together. It's coming together. Hopefully when we do I hope that we're able to get a Halloween episode in. I think we will. The question is, will we be able to get it out around that time? Because that time will be really busy. So hopefully we will make sure to get a Halloween episode.
We will have an episode closer to Halloween than just now. So
yes. Or a little bit, even if it's a little bit after, and if it's like reflecting on Halloween, we'll figure it out.
Well, I don't even know that, because it'll be your birthday on the 3rd. So you're gonna have to cover that the whole episode.
Yeah, but that'll be reflecting on Halloween too. I mean, it's sort of very close to Halloween.
Do you feel like Halloween sometimes gets in the way of your own day of birth?
I didn't even think about it until like last year, and I was like, "Whoa, my birthday is really close to Halloween." I don't know why. I guess because like the moment Halloween's over, people's mind like shifts to Christmas, and like
true.
So, but that being said, I love it because I think I realized that Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Wait, dead air?
Because like I feel like Halloween's such a welcoming holiday. Like it's not necessarily based in like religion per se, which, I just think that makes it already much more welcoming. I mean, some could argue that it's like Hallows Eve, but I was
gonna say it's ironic that you say that, because I be in the TikTok circle sometimes. A woman was like, I can't celebrate Halloween because it kind of celebrates like witchcraft. And, my family doesn't do that. But we do like to dress up in costumes and kind of like eat candy for Halloween. And I'm like,
so everybody gets yeah. I feel like Halloween's one of the more lenient holidays that most people are good with, wearing a costume. I mean, come on, you can wear any costume you want any day of the year. It's just like a day that everybody can wear a costume, all that stuff. So you get to dress up, you get to be your favorite character. Most people are participating in one way or another. And it's spooky season. I mean, who doesn't love the vibes of watching those Halloween movies, watching some scary movies as fall is beginning to come along and the trees start turning red and yellow and they start falling down. It's just beautiful. I mean, fall is my favorite season anyway. So yeah, I'm really excited for Halloween and I can't wait to chat about it and have a little fun Halloween episode. I'm really excited. Yeah.
I think that'd be cute. I'm not a fan of Halloween. I'm not gonna lie.
What? You missed
I'm a shit on it right now. TMZ cover this.
Sean
right now.
Always goes all out for Halloween. How dare you? How dare
TMZ
you?
clip this. I do like to go stupid for Halloween on occasion, but I don't like spooky. I think I've accepted that now. As I've gotten older, I've come to like spookiness less and less. So I'm taking a side here.
You don't like, I mean, what if it's like playful spooky, like the Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before Christmas is cute, and honestly, just because it's so classic, I let that slide. But more often than not, the spooky is always two things. It's either A, like straight up just fucking just getting terrified, and I am not one of those people that would pay to be terrified. That doesn't make no sense to me. And secondly, spooky can come across as weird, and all right, I love Nightmare. What's it? Nightmare Before Christmas, but some of those other ones, Coraline, is just weird. I know it's classic. A part of me does like it, but it's weird. It's just weird. Like I don't like these vibes.
To each their own. To each
strange,
their
man.
own.
I want to be a hater, like I hate it, but it's
more
not,
Halloween for me. You know what
it's
I'm
not
saying? More Halloween.
I'm like,
for me.
yo, what's that one movie? What's that one movie with the not movie? It's a story where the guy like hates Christmas and he has like past, present, and future.
Oh,
Like
that's like
visit
the
him.
story of Shanka Joe's life, and I'm pretty sure the ghost of Marley is about to show up and start showing you your past. Are you talking about Christmas
That's what
Carol?
I'm saying. Yeah, no, this is Halloween Carol. This is Halloween Carol right now. Bah humbug. Fuck Halloween. I'm just kidding. I do love Halloween, but like I don't like the spooky part about the aesthetic. But everything else, I love it.
All
Going
right,
into
all
a
right.
world, being characters, that's so fun.
So you're not gonna order hella Batman parts this year?
Okay, that's for an unrelated issue. But no, I will not be doing that. Mainly, I don't like how many times people invite me to horror nights at Universal. I'm sick of that shit. Oh my god. I get it. Y'all love horror. Horror nights is like a legendary thing here in Los Angeles every freaking October. You know, Universal puts on this great horror night show, whatever. I'm not one of those people that just wants to walk around and have motherfuckers just come out the fucking woodworks and scare me. Why the fuck would I want
I
that?
still want to go to a pumpkin patch, which I have yet to do. I've gotten a pumpkin, but I haven't been to a pumpkin patch and a one of those like haunted forests. Though that's my next goal.
Yeah, I gotta do some pumpkin carving soon. Lauren puts on an annual pumpkin carving fest, and it's fun.
Yeah, I was there last.
You were
time.
there
It was
last
a good
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good, man.
Yeah. So, what have we not talked about yet? I feel like we covered a lot.
We actually covered I mean, the 2 weeks that went by, a lot was happening all at once.
I know. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
It's weird because I feel like other weeks we have drier weeks where we just kind of talk about just ourselves and not the outside world. But this past 2 weeks, I mean, the actors are still on strike. I know the writers won their battle. Actors are still fighting.
Actors are still on strike. It's pretty wild.
Don't forget that. Don't forget, actors are still at war with AMPTP, which really should just be AMPTC for companies, not producers. They're not producers. Anyway, wow, that was passionate. My bad. I should have rolled that one back.
That was passionate. You know what I'm saying? That was passionate.
A little too passionate.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know what else I'm sure we have a lot to catch up on. I mean, it has been like 2 weeks since we chatted. I want to say basically since
it has been a very long time.
How was your flight back?
To where?
To LA.
Oh, to here.
Yeah.
Well, in the first 10 to 15 minutes of landing, I saw a car accident. So that's how you know we're back in Los Angeles.
That's how you know.
Back to Los Angeles. Dude, I did my midterm.
I kind of like long flights, but like I don't like them at the same time because like so much about traveling is so stressful, and when a flight is like when it's going badly, it sucks. Like when the airport is just like difficult to get through, and you know you're sitting next to a crying baby, perhaps. All that stuff, right?
Ooh, I'm gonna hold my tongue.
But when a flight goes smoothly, it's really not that bad. I really don't mind it because I'm just like, all right, smoothly in the airport. You know, I got a lot of time. I can grab some food from one of those like airport stops and then just chill.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't have that because it was smooth the first couple hours. Then my pilot out of nowhere goes on the intercom and is like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your right, there's just this big ass storm. And unfortunately, we can't just fly through that storm. So what we're going to do is fly around it. It's going to add about maybe an hour and 30 minutes to the flight. But it is what it is. All right, bye. And it was like...
Dang. It'd be like that sometimes.
Great.
Did you have a layover or not?
Nah, it was a direct.
That's good, dude. I had a layover in Atlanta for one of them. Then my flight got delayed 2 hours, so I was just stuck in Atlanta's airport, roaming around aimlessly. That was lame because it was also getting late and stuff like that. So I was like, no. But you know, when you can just be on a flight, you don't have a layover, everything goes smoothly in the beginning, and then you can just either listen to music or if they have like the movie screen, you can do that. Relaxing. And then, you know, if it goes smoothly on the way out and you're just like, let's go, you can, you know, go to LAX, get out, get your Lyft or whatever, and then just ride home easy, dub skis, get home, relax, go to bed. It's like, it's not a bad day if it goes smoothly.
I couldn't do that. Literally, I hopped off the plane. I guess I
At
went to
LAX?
bed.
At LAX? Hopped off
Yeah,
the
so
plane at
I hopped off the plane.
Wait, you what? What'd you do?
I hopped off the plane at LAX. But I did hop off the plane at LAX. There wasn't a Jay-Z song on, unfortunately. But I went home, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and went immediately to class. So for me, like that 2 weeks of week of class, shoot the movie, come back and more class, it was literally no breaks. I was exhausted.
It was hectic. Yeah.
I was exhausted. It was
Yeah, fair
bad.
enough, man. When you don't have like one day of break, just so tiring. Like I was surprised to get this Sunday as a relaxing day, but it was really nice. It was really, really nice. It was one of the few times, yeah, I wasn't quite like, I wish I was doing something today. It was very nice and relaxing. And I just got to do a little bit of everything, a little bit of nothing. And that's a leisure. That's a leisurely day. You know what I'm saying?
It's a leisurely day.
Yeah, but the grind still don't stop. And stuff's happening. I'm keeping busy. Things are going well.
That's good. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, gotta make sure you schedule your loafs. You know what I mean? I don't have any loafs scheduled, but I'm gonna schedule one soon.
Schedule a
I'm gonna
loaf,
tell you
man.
that.
Schedule a
Schedule a
loaf.
loaf. I just had a social interaction where it was like, I was partying, celebrating Arena's birthday yesterday night up until midnight, which I did not plan to do, but it happened. And then I had to wake up and do this. And then, I got more class actually in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we doing on time.
We're pretty good. We're pretty good on time right now. So we can wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like I've just been like busy.
Yeah,
just busy.
That's good, man. A lot
things.
of the time, I like staying busy. You know what I'm saying? I've been waking up early too. I think we both been waking up early.
Yeah,
got a
that's
full
for
day.
sure.
Got a full day to plan every day. It's like, let's go. It's like, but luckily there's still a little bit of leniency in. I feel like I still get a good amount of break here and there. So I've definitely been like very hectic and very busy, and there's been a lot of stuff to do, but I still find I feel like I'm still able to find some leisure time each day. Some.
I feel like mine is varied. Some weeks are lighter in work. Some weeks are very heavy in work. But ironically, that's the way I like it. I'm not someone that loves routines. I'm not someone that wants everything to be the same consistently. I need a little bit of like push and pull. It's good for me. So that's the thing. Like this week is one of the crazier weeks compared to one of my lighter weeks, like last week.
Yeah.
That's good. But I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly.
Good, man. Good, man. Things are going well. I'm really glad we were able to get this episode in. Again,
our schedules are getting crazy. We can't even
try our best. We
get
try
an episode
our best.
in.
We really do. We're not able to get it in. I feel like obviously as on beat as we were when we were out in LA, but we still get it in when we can, and we try to match up our schedules, and we've been able to do that.
Word. What episode number is it? 54? Where are we at the 50s already, or is it 40?
No, I want to say it's 47, I think, but I might be wrong. I want to say it's 47.
It feels like Thanos coming, man.
Yeah.
Whatever the episode number is, you see it down there below.
Yep.
Anyway, we should probably start wrapping this up, man.
Let's wrap it up.
TBH. Yep. Anyway, thank you for joining us again for another episode. I have no idea what episode number this is. Maybe 47, hopefully. If not, yell at me in the comments below or something.
It's something like that.
Read it or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again for joining us for another episode.
Thank you very much.
I'm your host, King Cudjo.
And I'm Cough Drippy. And Sean, give me a dap up again. One more before.
Let's go. Oh,
and then fist bump. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hopefully that looks sick.
Our timing is so bad. That's not going to work in the edit. Tell me if it works, honestly.
Okay, I will.
Or we'll just see it. It's probably ass. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, thank you for joining us again. Yep. And see you in the next episode, I guess.
Yep.
2 Chainz.
Peace.